We're doing pretty good. 4 out of 8, still got a full health bar. Ah! Hey there, Icarus here, and welcome to yet another spooky edition of Doom Mod Madness. This time we're cranking it up just a little further with the return of Ghosted 2. Old-timers here will remember that I have indeed covered this in the past, but in the intervening years, that's right, years, you may crumble into dust now, Ghosted 2 has indeed received a number of updates, so what better time than now to dive back in and get spooked all over again. To kick things off, however, the mod starts you off in this hub environment, whereupon you can interact with the PC here to choose which map you'd like to attempt to survive. You can explore the house, pick up a few extra supplies, and if you require, you can also head down into the basement for a tutorial on what Ghosted 2 expects of you. Long story short, Ghosted 2 expects you to explore these varied spooky locations, and in the process of doing so, pick up 8 mysterious cursed pages. This was very much the style of the time. Anyone who is around for Slender will realize that kicked off a whole slew of copycats, essentially revolving around the same conceit. Spooky location, mysterious pages, usually 8, and an apparition of some kind. The more pages you acquire, the more threat you are under, and very specific rules generally need to be obeyed in order to keep yourself alive, or at least out of sight of whatever is pursuing you. With regards to Ghosted 2, however, there is a whole buffet of apparitions out here, ready, willing, and able to touch you inappropriately. Oh no, I don't know what that is, and I wish to leave. I wish to disembark! In terms of what apparition in particular you'll be up against in your travels, that is really up to the roll of the dice. You won't really know until they start coming after you. For the most part, you're safe until you grab yourself at least one page, and even then it usually progresses at a pretty decent curve, but then again, you could always just be ambushed right off the bat. As a rule of thumb though, the more pages you have, the worse it's gonna get. Chances are you may even get more than one apparition. But easily, the worst situations I've found myself in are when I've got multiple pages and nothing has happened yet. All you've got to go on is the spookiness of the environment and the ambience that surrounds you sound effect wise, and the tension really does ratchet up in those particular moments. Nothing particularly terrifying as of yet! When it comes to the specifics of that roster of spooky apparitions, probably one of the most common that I came across would be the Shadow. This one prefers the darkness, as its name implies. It's far too early for you, my friend! Far too early! Get out of here! I got a flashlight! In fact, when presented with a well-lit environment during the course of the map, it will pretty much try and flee. Sure, it might deliver a few parting shots, but for the most part, if you stick to the light, you'll be alright. In the dark, however, you will very much be reliant on your flashlight or any other sources that you come across. This can include matches, a somewhat unreliable lighter, and glow sticks. Next on the list is the Lady. This one's particularly unpleasant to deal with for a number of reasons, one of which being the absolutely horrible noise it makes when it's in the vicinity. And second is the fact that it's pretty much attracted to all sources of sound, so your loud footsteps, opening and closing of doors. If anything, the only saving grace here is that it's not particularly fast, though seeing those white eyes piercing out from the dark never ceases to just make my hairs stand on end. The skeleton, in comparison, is apparently not that great when it comes to sighting you, but is still quite affected by sound. It will investigate any sources that it hears, and if it catches you in the vicinity, oh god, I hope you've got your running shoes on, because this fella can book. Oh no. How do I make him go away? How do I make him go away? He's right behind me. Oh! Now, the fourth entry in the roster here, though, is something that will be very familiar. Hell no, it's Mr. Slender. He's here to touch me. He'll stay still as long as you keep him in direct sightline, but as soon as that breaks, he'll start moving, he'll start pursuing. But really, the most common thread between all of these, maybe bar the shadow, is the fact that they actively screw with the lights. They flicker on approach, and in some cases, just blow them out completely. This has a bit of a symbiotic effect if the shadow turns up later, because the active area that you can use to deter it shrinks over the length of the round. So if you get a bad pull and you get a lot of the other ones first, then all I can say is you best get busy gathering them pages. As for that pursuit, I'm pretty sure the pages are never in the same place twice on any given map, so yeah, you're really going to have to familiarize yourself with these when it comes to navigation and not doubling back on yourself when it comes to seeking out those last few crucial pages. And really, if I had any kind of advice, it would be try to run the same location multiple times, because Ghosted 2 actually has a habit of cycling these maps every time you die. It'll return you to that central hub map, but if you wander off without consulting the PC terminal in the house, it'll just drop you somewhere new, which, as you can imagine, makes it difficult to develop any kind of familiarity. Doubly so when there's something like 7 of these locations. But yes, structurally, these places are absolute labyrinths. The construction feels very much Swiss cheese-like in terms of multiple ways to enter and exit any given area, though don't take that to mean that you won't occasionally find yourself blundering into a dead end. And if you do, while something's in pursuit, well, sucks to be you, I guess. Whoa! If I have any main criticism of Ghosted 2, it would be that more often than not, it feels like the outcome of any given round is mostly down to luck of the draw. I mean, sure, when it comes to the apparitions, there's still an element of expertise there. If you're dealing with X, Y, or Z, you know that there's a preferred method to avoid their attention or, drive them away. It's also worth remembering that light here is a finite resource. It can be drained, especially with regards to the flashlight. Certain ghosts can just suck that thing dry. What are you left with after that? Glow sticks and matches. And the matches suck. Either way, with all of this in mind, it's still a phenomenally effective spook 'em up. It's, sure, very jump scare reliant, but hey, in my mind, there's 2 types of jump scare. One that just surprises you with a loud noise, and the other that is the culmination of a lot of build-up. And Ghosted 2 does a lot of good things when it comes to ratcheting up that unease, that tension. But I'm sure a few of you out there are thinking, it could be more intense. Well, how about VR compatibility? That's right. You can slap on a VR headset and run this uncomfortably close to your own eyeballs. If you're wondering how this was achieved, well, mercifully, Ghosted 2 comes pre-packaged with a VR patch, meaning that if you get yourself a copy of GZ Doom VR, you can load up the patch alongside the main WAD and experience Ghosted 2 this way. Just make sure you bring along an extra pair of trousers.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I got a light, you motherfucker. Get out of here.
As you might imagine, it's hard to convey just how immersive this is in VR when I'm just showing you my perspective through a PC monitor, but the sense of presence, the sense of almost physically being there, the notion that there might be something physically behind you is horrifying in the best possible way. And the usage of sound, which is already stellar in this in terms of localized sound sources and just overall ambiance, is really intensified thanks to the spatial audio of a VR headset. But as you can imagine, I'm extremely happy to have revisited this, to see that it's still just as good as I remember. Slightly better even. It's got an extra map from the old version that I remember, and, there's all the extra spit and polish. But yeah, an easy recommend if you're after something that I'd almost say is nostalgic in its design, but still no less effective in its execution. But in any case, if you're interested in giving this a whirl for yourself, the links, as usual, can be found in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, maybe leave a suggestion for any mods you'd like to see me cover in future editions of Doom Mod Madness. If you'd like to support the channel a little bit more directly, I do offer channel memberships on YouTube. I've got Patreon memberships elsewhere. Either of those will net you early access to new videos, and, if you're lucky, the occasional exclusive whenever I've got the time to make them. But until next time, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.